St. John, it's time to call things out. A to Z. From addiction to zero accountability, this alphabet tells the story of our streets, our struggles, and our silence. It's raw, it's real, and it's time for change. Today's letter A is brought to you by Addiction in St. John. Addiction isn't hidden anymore. It's not just in back alleys or behind closed doors. It's right on our main stage. We see people stumbling across crosswalks, sleeping on benches, or screaming into the night. It's not just their problem anymore. It's in our faces, in our neighborhoods, and in front of our kids. Fix it. Recovery beds, not sidewalks. B. Today's letter B is brought to you by Big Brother in St. John. We've got cameras everywhere, ready to ticket taxpayers for a parking mistake. But where are they when deals go down right in front of them? Where are they when addicts are shooting up in plain sight? The cameras seem more focused on bleeding our wallets than cleaning up our streets. Fix it. Use cameras to stop crime, not punish citizens. B. Today's letter B is also brought to you by Bikes in St. John. My son once yelled at a tweaker pedaling past, "Hey, is that my bike?" And the guy, high out of his mind, took off so fast you'd think the cops were behind him. My son said he never saw anyone pedal that fast in his life. Bikes aren't transportation anymore. They're currency for addicts. Fix it. Stop the stolen bike circus. C. Today's letter C is brought to you by Coke in St. John. And no, not the kind you drink. The kind they're snorting in bathroom stalls, alleyways, and stairwells. Walk into some public washrooms and you'll see the powder trails, or the straws, or the blood-speckled toilet paper. This isn't hidden. It's out in the open. Fix it. End public drug use and hold dealers accountable. Today's letter D is brought to you by Downtown Decay in St. John. I remember when downtown was something to be proud of. Shops, lights, clean sidewalks. Now, needles, bottles, graffiti, and urine. The air reeks, and the storefronts look abandoned. It's like our city rolled out a welcome mat of rot. Fix it. Revitalize. Don't just spray paint over it. E. Today's letter E is brought to you by encampments in St. John. They pop up everywhere. Tents in corners, sleeping bags on sidewalks, people passed out on benches. I've seen young ones barely out of their teens curled up like they've given up on life already. These aren't homes. They're death traps, and they've turned sidewalks into shelters. Fix it. Beds, not tents. F. Today's letter F is brought to you by fentanyl in St. John. Safe supply is a lie. It's feeding overdoses. The stuff is deadlier than anything before and cheaper than food. People collapse daily. Sirens scream, and yet the government calls this help. Let's stop sugarcoating what ends in death. Fix it. Stop enabling drug addiction. It only ends in overdoses and death. Fund prevention instead. G. Today's letter G is brought to you by Garbage in St. John. It's not just bags on the curb anymore. It's bins spilling over, ripped open by rats and seagulls. It's abandoned appliances dumped in parking lots. And half the time, the homeless are digging through it, scattering it even further. Garbage is now part of the landscape, like street signs or stoplights. Fix it. Bulk pickup, cleanup crews, and community pride. H. Today's letter H is brought to you by homelessness in St. John. I've seen them sleeping in bank entrances. Once, the police came to check on a man passed out at the door. Another time, when I went to withdraw money for my son, a young man, maybe in his 20s, asked for change. I told him I didn't have cash, but offered to bring back a coffee and donuts. He probably thought I wouldn't return. But I did. I came back with a hot drink and 2 plain donuts. That's the human side of it. But the bigger picture? Families have abandoned their own kids to the street. I couldn't do it. I'd be on my kids' backs like flies on shit before I'd ever let them live like that. Fix it. Housing and family reconnection. I. Today's letter I is brought to you by Idle Policing in St. John. Cruisers sit parked, lights off, while citizens step over needles. Where are the foot patrols? Where's the engagement? Policing isn't supposed to be wait and see while the rest of us dodge syringes. Fix it. Patrol on foot, not parked. J. Today's letter J is brought to you by Jail in St. John. We used to have a drunk tank. A family member of mine joked he had his own cell. He ended up there so often. He even once got a ticket for riding his bike drunk. But you know what? At least they sobered up safe. Back then, there were consequences. Today, people overdose in public, get revived, and are back on the street the same day. Fix it. Bring back the drunk tank and jail predators. K. Today's letter K is brought to you by Kids in St. John. Kids can't walk to school without passing overdoses, open drug use, or fights breaking out. Monkey see, monkey do. And let's not forget, predators still roam these streets. Our kids are learning more from what they see on the sidewalk than what they see in school. Fix it. Protect kids and jail predators. L. Today's letter L is brought to you by Litter in St. John. The streets I grew up watching clean are now filled with wrappers, broken glass, pipes, and needles. What was once a city to be proud of is now a place where every step feels like a risk. Fix it. Fines and fast cleanup. M. Today's letter M is brought to you by Meth in St. John. I see them walking wrapped in blankets like zombies from a horror flick. They shuffle, mumble, stare right through you. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And you can't convince me this is normal city life. Fix it. Expand detox and cut supply. M. Mental health. Today's letter M is also brought to you by Mental Health in St. John. Some turn to street drugs to fight the battles in their heads. Others get trapped in prescriptions handed out like candy, with no warnings, no follow-up, and no support. These pills can't be stopped cold turkey, yet many aren't even told the risks. Pills without responsibility or real care just push people closer to the streets. Fix it. Real mental health services, not pill pushing or sidewalks as asylums. N. Today's letter N is brought to you by Needles in St. John. They're everywhere. Playgrounds, sidewalks, washrooms, even jammed into toilet paper rolls. I tell people, check before you wipe because you don't know what you're grabbing. We've gone from playground slides to sharp slides, and no one calls that progress. Fix it. Safe disposal, sharp spins, and fines. O. Today's letter O is brought to you by ODs in St. John. Every day, the sirens wail. The same faces, the same overdoses, over and over. They're revived, released, and then it's rinse and repeat. How many chances does one life get while the taxpayers footing the bill get none? Fix it. Connect every overdose to mandatory recovery. P. Today's letter P is brought to you by Pee and Poo in St. John. From Garden Street Irving to the Causeway, Uptown reeks of urine. Sometimes it's so bad it smells like a seniors complex with bladder issues. And it's not dogs, it's people. Our air stinks of neglect. Fix it. Public washrooms and power washing. P. Today's letter P is also brought to you by Pills in St. John. So many addictions started in a doctor's office, with pills handed out like candy. Quacks who put profit over people lit the spark that spread into this fire. Fix it. Hold pill pushers accountable. Today's letter Q is brought to you by Questions in St. John. Why are we funding chaos instead of fixing it? Why do we accept this as the new normal? Fix it. Demand answers from City Hall. Today's letter R is brought to you by Rats in St. John. I remember them in the 90s when the street cleaners still came out. You'd see them scurrying after the trucks. Now? They own the streets, strutting like they pay rent. We've let filth become their kingdom. Fix it. Clean streets and eliminate the trash. S. Today's letter S is brought to you by Safe Supply in St. John. Handed out like candy, creating black markets and fueling overdoses. Safe Supply isn't saving lives, it's stretching addictions. Fix it. Fund recovery, not black markets. S. Today's letter S is also brought to you by Sanitation in St. John. Look at the homeless. They've got nowhere to shower, no place to wash their clothes, nowhere to feel human again. You can smell the neglect before you see it. Fix it. Build hygiene hubs with showers and laundry. Today's letter T is brought to you by taxpayers in St. John. We're funding the chaos while watching people tweak out on our sidewalks, like an episode straight out of The Walking Dead. Fix it. Fund treatment and cleanup. T. Today's letter T is also brought to you by Theft in St. John. Shoplifting is out of control. I saw a guy without a license plate on his car. Planned, ready to steal, and the stores aren't even allowed to stop them. Theft has become a free-for-all. Fix it. Enforce laws and protect stores. U. Today's letter U is brought to you by Urine in St. John. From Garden Street Irving to the Causeway, the smell of urine follows you. Uptown has become one giant bathroom. Fix it. Power wash and enzyme clean the city. V. Today's letter V is brought to you by Violence in St. John. I've seen fights break out in secluded parking lots. I recorded one brawl, and another time I overheard a girl screaming, "Don't touch me! You're crazy! I didn't steal your money!" One night, standing on a friend's step for a smoke, a man walked up asking if I was Amber and offering me candy. Another time, I had to chase people away from under the stairs, where they were lighting crack pipes on wooden stairs of a 6-unit apartment building. In the winter, they even try lighting fires to stay warm. This isn't just violence, it's danger for everyone. Fix it. Patrol hidden lots and stairwells before someone gets killed or a fire starts. W. Today's letter W is brought to you by Waste in St. John. My daughter had a bonfire one night. No fire ban, just a normal country girl fire in the city. A senior in a nearby window called the fire trucks. They panicked, doused it, turned off the lights, and watched the firefighters inspect the ashes. Funny but not funny. Taxpayers' money wasted while real drug fires burn under stairs. Fix it. Stop wasting money on the wrong fires. X. Today's letter X is brought to you by X-rated scenes in St. John. Sidewalks have turned into bedrooms. Things that should be private are now in plain sight. Fix it. Enforce decency laws. Today's letter Y is brought to you by Youth Lost in St. John. I once saw a young man sleeping in a bank doorway. He asked for money, but I came back with coffee and donuts instead. Another time, I saw a red-haired girl who looked like my daughter, but addiction had already stolen her. These young ones could be anyone's child. Fix it. Prevention, mentorship, and real help for youth. Z. Today's letter Z is brought to you by Zero Accountability in St. John. Predators walk free, abusers serve fractions, and kids stay unprotected. We've normalized injustice, while those destroying lives get chance after chance. Fix it. Real justice, not empty talk. St. John is falling apart one letter at a time. This AZ isn't a children's alphabet book. It's the alphabet of what's gone wrong in our city. Addiction, garbage, violence, waste, it's all here. But so are the solutions, because we deserve better.